morning from Billund Airport. I've been here quite a few times in the last few weeks, but I haven't really been traveling here because the last few times that I was here, I was doing or covering some route opening events for Brussels Airlines, Air Greenland and Austrian Airlines. And if you are interested in that, then I will leave the link to those videos in the video description below. But today we are traveling from Billund Airport to Warsaw with the LOT Polish Airlines, and it's been a while since I last been traveling with that airline. So I'm quite curious to see how they're doing nowadays. But before we can get going, I need to drop off some luggage and then of course get through security. So see you on the other side. Alright, so the automated baggage drop-off didn't work for our flight, so let's head over to a manned station. And now that that's done, let's get through security. We passed through security. That was quick and painless, just as I like it. Yeah, so as I said, we will be flying with LOT Polish Airlines today. It's been a few years since I last tried them. It wasn't anything that memorable. I mean, they did all right. What I liked back then was I was still flying on the 737-400, that they actually already had power plugs or USB plugs at every seat. Today we will be flying on an Embraer. So I don't know how the cabin on that aircraft is, but we will see. I don't think our gate has been announced yet, so I'll find a quiet corner here at the airport and wait for that to be announced. But I look forward to today's flight to see what LOT Polish Airlines can offer passengers in 2023. So it turns out I'm wrong. The gate has already been announced, so that's lovely. Gate 8 today for us here at Billund Airport. Funnily enough, probably the gate I spent the most time on the last few weeks, because Gate 8 and Gate 10, those were the gates for these route opening events that I attended a few weeks back. So yeah, I will be back on that again. But this time, of course, we're not just at the gate, but we will also be on an aircraft. Unsurprisingly, no plane here yet, so we have time to relax a little before our flight. All right, let's head to Warsaw. All right, welcome aboard. Flight LO 466, I believe. And that's the view from seat 5A. The cabin on board this ERJ 175 of LOT features a very typical European cabin with fairly comfortable seats, good seat pitch, fairly large overheads, very large tables, but unfortunately no power or USB plugs. At your seat you'll however find a in-flight magazine, and don't worry, it is bilingual in Polish and English. And then we find the so-called Sky Bar. Here you can find a variety of snacks, soft drinks, alcoholic beverages, and you can apparently also order meals, which however need to be ordered online prior to your flight. So far so good, but this is where this trip unfortunately took a turn, as I was informed by a crew member that I was prohibited from filming in the cabin. Fair enough, after all it's their turf, so their rules apply, but what a shame, as it just makes it that much harder to show what LOT has to offer, but okay. The plane is ready to go, so let's get going and see what I'll be able to capture along the way despite this reprimand.
Crew minute for departure.
So in order to comply with the crew members' instructions, I tried only to film myself and out the window, which I luckily had been allowed to. Shortly after takeoff, the onboard service was started, and given the skybar we looked at, I was expecting to have to cough up with some money if I wanted something, but it turns out the skybar wasn't at all available. I assume this might then only apply on longer flights or perhaps charter flights with LOT Polish Airlines. It wasn't really described anywhere, so I'm really just guessing here. What I can say is that passengers were offered still or sparkling water, as well as tea or coffee, and the choice of an apple or spinach bun. All that was complimentary, so I didn't need to pull out my credit card, so that was nice for sure. After the service, there was even time for a little power nap on this 1 hour and 20 minute long flight. So now that we are getting closer to Warsaw, I would like to take the time to talk a little bit more about today's flight experience. In all honesty, it wasn't the best flight I have been on, and mainly due to the crew performance. And I hear you, oh, it's a YouTuber who is annoyed that he wasn't allowed to film. But that really isn't the case. The crew technically performed all its tasks by the book. All safety procedures were done as they should. They served every passenger during the service round, and had their cold, distant and perhaps reserved demeanor been only directed towards me, I wouldn't mention it here, because then it would obviously have been because of me filming the flight. But as far as I could observe during the flight, this lack of interest in showing even the slightest of positive emotions towards the passengers did seem pretty universal. And if you as a cabin crew are barely capable to muster even the slightest of smiles while serving passengers, then it might not be the right job for you. Now, I don't want to judge the crew too harshly, but
it's just these small things that make the difference, and today they didn't quite manage to reach the levels that I would expect. Nonetheless, in a few days I will be flying with LOT again, so I will see if this was just a bad day at the office, or maybe there's something systemic here. Could also just be some cultural differences here.
Now I will make my way to the baggage reclaim area to pick up my checked in luggage, and then hopefully see you on another trip here on the channel very soon. Until then, thanks for watching and bye.